May the sun shine when the clouds of the Dark Age are cleaved by his sword.
The Soulcalibur series was one of the first 3D fighters to nail weapon-based combat. Since then, it's built its name on incredibly balanced gameplay and an announcer that makes little to no sense.
Slashing through the shadows, she defeats the evils that lurk behind history.
Soulcalibur 4 has arrived, and it's tempering its proven formula with Star Wars cameos, online play, and a ton of bonus content. But does the soul still burn?
Entrust your noble soul to your sword.
With Soulcalibur 4, the series continues to emphasize content and a numerous selection of modes. The game honors its convoluted plot with a story mode, although the actual amount of story conveyed is minimal.
Spare me your pity.
The most substantial single-player addition is the Tower of Souls mode. Players can choose to ascend through a successively difficult series of challenges, which yield bonus treasure chests containing new equipment. Or they can descend, battling an endless series of opponents in tag team battles. It takes serious dedication, adept character management, and plenty of time to completely master it.
Perfect!
The character-switching team battle mechanic heavily featured in the Tower of Souls is conspicuously unavailable in Versus, but 2 multiplayer options are available offline or online through ranked or unranked matches. Standard Versus mode sets the stage for straightforward one-on-one battles, while Special Versus lets players utilize equipment and skills available through the impressively full-featured character creation mode.
KO!
Arcade mode awards points and gives you the chance to fight and unlock guest characters, including barely justified appearances by Star Wars icons. Yoda's on the 360, Vader's on the PS3, and the star of the upcoming Force Unleashed video game appears on both. They represent the lone character balancing issues. The total list of fighters is huge. Old favorites return with some updates, though the number of clones is on the high side.
You're so weak. Talk and no action.
But that's alright, because you can tweak existing characters or create an original based on one of the game's numerous fighting styles. You unlock gear as you go, which can lead to some impressively cool or ridiculous fighters that you can showcase online.
Master, stay down! KO!
There are many ways to play Soulcalibur 4, but like most fighting games, they amount to little more than fighting ladder after ladder of opponents. The roster of fighters is robust, and molding your created character can become addictive. The online play puts it near the top shelf for fighting game content.
You win!
Kali Yuga, show me the way.
One of the strongest aspects of Soulcalibur 4 is its sense of style. Meticulously detailed mechanical gnomes, lizard people wielding oversized tableware, and titanic, lasciviously rendered breasts may not be to everyone's liking, but there's no denying it all makes an impact. Swings are fluid and strikes look and feel powerful, but the critical finishers are rarely worth the price tag.
Try this! See that?
Both the Xbox 360 and PS3 versions run great and look basically identical, so your choice should depend on your favorite controller. English voices, including the now classic, terribly overdramatic narrator, live up to what fans expect from the series. The soundtrack falls right in line, with grand pieces like Gigantesque, making the indulgence in big fights, big sounds, and big assets truly complete.
Watched over by the gods, they unleash their fury.
Soulcalibur 4 offers an incredible volume of characters, modes, and extras. With every worthwhile addition, there is some filler, but online play, lag or not, is a nice step forward. Though the best player may not always win, pop this game in at a party and everyone will want to play. It may not set your soul on fire, but it should keep it warm until the next installment.
superheroes in a fighting game. What would have been a shocking concept before Marvel met Street Fighter is still a pretty cool one now, and in some ways, DC and Mortal Kombat really do seem meant for each other. If you've ever wanted to see Raiden take on Superman, your dreams will come true. But is taking the outcome into your own hands worth the price of admission?
What is this place?
It's the Batcave.
Compared to recent Mortal Kombat games, MKvsDC weighs in a little light when it comes to game modes. There's no action-adventure mode, no kart racing, and definitely no chess. Not that it's a bad thing, considering how half-baked those were in the past. The two substantial story modes stand dead center, supported by a no-frills arcade mode, the skill-testing combo challenge, and versus play online and off. So maybe they could have used one or two silly modes, but MKvsDC shows decent design, bringing back some of the simplicity of old Mortal Kombat, while keeping some of the new school stuff like 3D movement and Tekken-like juggles. It's still not the sharpest or most balanced fighting game around, and that's okay. What won't be okay with many fans is that MKvsDC seems to have traded its signature over-the-top gore and violence for a superhero license and a teen rating.
I've got a bad feeling about this.
When the match is over and it's time to finish your opponent, the mild fatalities and the new heroic brutalities simply can't compare to the dangling spinal cords and beating hearts fans once knew. They're just much less satisfying. Each fighter has 2 finishers to discover, randomly or with the help of the internet. But there's not a lot of content to unlock. There are 23 characters total, with all but 3 combatants available from the start. Other than brief still-screen endings in arcade mode, you're given pretty much everything up front.
The Flash wins.
Mortal Kombat vs. DC is tamer than most titles that bear the Mortal Kombat name, but there are still recognizable elements. There are 2 punch buttons and 2 kick buttons. The universal uppercut remains in classic form, and while finishing moves were neutered, special moves are still visually interesting and inventive. The DC side actually brings some interesting techniques to the table, even if it seems like everybody and their mother has some kind of teleport. The emphasis on key special moves makes the long list of named combos and commands similar to what you'd see in other 3D fighting games, mostly useless. It doesn't help that so many attacks often whiff up close. A rage meter lets you turn on extra damage or break a combo, but it's not the game-changing trump card it aspires to be. Meanwhile, wonky damage scaling and seemingly arbitrary timing make lengthy juggle combos far more trouble than they're worth. The fighting works on a basic level, but most of the additions don't add anything worthwhile. In-fight minigames that utilize Simon Says mechanics or button mashing to pound your opponent off a cliff or through a wall are gimmicky, but they're still among the better additions. And at least, they look cool. Even if you're looking at ugly characters, Mortal Kombat vs. DC Universe is a good-looking game. Cinematic touches during the fights themselves are obvious, but the way you can see the damage on the characters themselves is subtly impressive. If only the fatalities were a little less subtle. And if you like cutscenes, the twin story modes have hours of material for you to take in. Voice casting seems to match the right voices to the right characters for the most part, and the music suits both the MK and the DC sides equally well.
This night just keeps getting better and better.
Unfortunately, you never hear the phrase toasty pop up, but there's still some cheese to appreciate.
Raiden! Stop! Fatality? Maybe it's time I gave you a demonstration of my impressive technology.
A respectable roster, goofy but generally fun fighting, and the bridging of 2 universes with an actually coherent storyline makes MKvsDC appealing for casual players. But if you're looking for a true Mortal Kombat sequel or the next super balanced tournament fighter, this watered-down, crossed-over spin-off is not your game.